As we step into a brand new year, it's time to glance back at the whirlwind of happenings in the watch world and cast a discerning eye towards what lies ahead. What trends have overstayed their welcome and deserve to be unceremoniously chucked in the bin? And what should we be clamouring for more of in 2025? Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to present my definitive list of horological bin or bake. Spoiler alert, some things are about to get roasted. 2024, a banner year for vintage-inspired reissues and back catalogue raiding, now with modern gubbins slapped on for good measure. And yes, we've all lapped it up like over-caffeinated Labradors. From Tudor's monochrome black bays nodding to the Submariners of yesteryear, to Tag Heuer's new, old plastic Formula One that looks like it's crawled out of a dusty, forgotten Toys R Us aisle, everyone's been at it. Sure, it's been fun. Who doesn't enjoy gawping at these horological time machines, or better yet, squandering a chunk of their mortgage money on one? If I'm honest, it's all starting to feel a bit meh. I find myself craving something truly new, something that screams 2025, not 1955. A watch that doesn't look like it was designed to be worn whilst doctors were still announcing that this or that brand of ciggies are the healthiest, or when asbestos was the hottest new trend in building materials. Yes, a dash of nostalgia can be comforting. In these turbulent post-pandemic times, with inflation gnawing at our wallets, society teetering on the brink, and trust in one another running as deep as a puddle, it's no wonder we cling on to the past. But let's face it, the charm is wearing thin. It's beginning to feel lazy. Soon enough, these brands may as well slap Existential Crisis Edition on their dials. Take Tudor. Are they now the official purveyors of vintage homage? And must we really look back on 1940 as the good old days, while sporting our shiny new Hamilton trench watch, fondly inspired by Spanish flu, trench foot, and a smattering of trauma? Look, I'm not saying that brands shouldn't honour their roots. A bit of history is nice, it grounds us. But how about something for this century? Something that, in 50 or 100 years, people can glance at and say, now that was the 2020s. So to the reissues and overly vintage-inspired fluff, bin it. Confession time. I've received free watches on this channel, and what I'm about to say might have you reaching for your pitchforks and calling me a hypocrite of the highest order. But before you sharpen those tines, hear me out. The idea of taking financial reward for reviewing a product doesn't sit well with me. Not the reward itself, I'm not a monk, but the perception of that reward. It's a slippery slope both for the reviewer and the viewer. Let's address the elephant in the room. Can a reviewer truly remain independent and biased if they're essentially being paid? Whether that's cold, hard cash, or the warm, fuzzy feeling of keeping the product? Of course, the answer is yes, with a caveat. For seasoned reviewers, it's a doddle. They've got the reach, the reputation, and brands queuing up to have their wares put in front of tens of thousands of prospective customers, and as the old saying goes, no publicity is bad publicity. But for the rest of us, the scrappy underdogs just finding our feet, it's a delicate dance. Upsetting the industry too early is like burning bridges before you've even crossed them. If your contact list has fewer names than the 19th century census, you tread lightly to ensure you're not blacklisted before it's even started. Most reviewers, it must be said, are honest folk who wouldn't sell their souls for a quick payday. But from the viewer's perspective, how do you know that? And more importantly, why should you trust us? Here's the thing, transparency is key. It's reassuring to see reviewers disclose when they've been sent a product for free. But I'd argue we should go one step further. Where possible, reviewers should be asking for loan watches. Send it, review it, and ship it right back. It keeps things cleaner, don't you think? If you'd like a deeper dive into this topic, I'd highly recommend Mark from Long Island Watches. He's done an excellent video on the subject, and the link is in the description. But do me a favour, finish watching this first. After all, I need more brands to see my content so they'll send me free. Well, you get the idea. I jest, mostly. Now, back to me being a massive hypocrite. For clarity, every watch I've been sent for free has been passed on, either as a giveaway or just handed out to someone else. No financial ties, no backroom deals. Glad we cleared that up. If I chucked sponsored and paid reviews in the bin, it would just come bouncing back out covered in the remnants of last night's supper. So for now, instead, let's just bait the idea of loaner review products. Tissot's 2024 PRX line is beginning to feel like they got drunk on creativity and forgot to stop. Seriously, how many variations can one watch line take? First up, the forged carbon model. A 44mm beast with a black dial and integrated rubber strap. It's rugged, it's edgy, and it's huge. Perfect for those who think subtlety is overrated. Then we've got the gradient dials, because apparently one shade of blue isn't enough anymore. The 40mm dark blue to black gradient screams moody elegance, while the light blue version is here to remind you it's okay to wear your summer vibes all year round. A smattering of special editions, including the anime-inspired UFO Robot Grendizer edition, because why not? And just when you thought Tissot couldn't possibly squeeze in more, they dropped the PRX 25mm collection. 5 models that resurrects the 1978 original, because clearly nostalgia sells. And small wrists deserve the PRX too. So what's next, Tissot? PRX scented candles? PRX pet collar? It's a lot, but hey, if you like choices, Tissot's got you covered with over 60 of them. Yes, I own a PRX. Yes, I'm a hypocrite. Just heed my warning. Don't blame me when you buy the latest one and the next batch of conveyor belt releases is unleashed next week. The Tissot PRX 2024 update. A watch buffet nobody asked for, but somehow gets smashed anyway. Chuck it in the bin, along with the paper plates and half-eaten cocktail sausages. We've all been there. You've saved every penny of your pocket money, been on your best behaviour, and now you're finally ready to pull the trigger on that special piece that you've been dreaming about. It's a simple three-hander, but it's captured your heart since the moment you first saw it. You've read every review, watched every video, and convinced yourself it's the perfect watch for you. You arrive at the dealer, practically buzzing with excitement. It's time to see it in the flesh. You try it on, and wow, it's everything you imagined. The finishing is immaculate, the dial is mesmerising, and on your wrist, it makes you feel $1,000,000. Could this day get any better? But then, out the corner of your eye, you spot something else. What's that? You recognise the brand. And the watch looks incredible. Curiosity gets the better of you, so you take a closer look. A GMT? Interesting. High beat movement? Impressive. And 300 metres water resistance? That's 3 times what the original pick offers. You try it on. It feels good. It must be pricey though. Nope, it's a few $100s less than your original choice. Sod it, you think. I'll take it. On the way home, you're thrilled. You've snagged a bargain. You're so excited you strap it to your wrist immediately. It feels amazing. The next morning, you wake up early, eager to start your first full day with your new watch. Your wrist has swelled slightly, but it still fits well. You notice the lugs on the back are unfinished with some sharp edges. It's not ideal, but hey, nothing's perfect, right? A week later, you're admiring the lovely dial when something catches your eyes. The loom isn't perfectly aligned. No one's going to scrutinise my watch that closely, you tell yourself. Just forget about it. More time passes and the bracelet starts to squeak. Annoying, yes, but only when the watch isn't on your wrist. It's not a deal breaker, surely. But slowly, you start wearing the watch less and less. At first, just on weekends, then every other week. Eventually, it's once a month, if that. Why? Because every tiny flaw has chipped away at your connection to the watch. A watch you never truly wanted in the first place. A watch bought for its specs, not your heart. We often forget what it means to make choices as humans, relying on cold calculated numbers. We've been conditioned to think this way, and for the most part, it serves us well. But in the world of watches, it can lead us astray. Brands have caught on. They know how many of us now shop with our heads, not with our hearts. They churn out spec monsters, watches loaded with impressive numbers while cutting the corners on things that truly matter. Fit, finish and feel. Because let's face it, marketing finished lugs and tight but smooth tolerances doesn't grab attention like 300 metres water resistance, high beat movement and GMT functionality. Yet in the grand scheme of watch ownership, those big ticket specs often mean nothing if the watch doesn't live up to your daily expectations. If it sits unloved in a drawer, those numbers are just noise. Here's hoping we can break free from the marketing fluff and brands start putting focus back on what really matters. Until then, specs over quality, get in the bin. Casio watches, reliable, affordable, and satisfy a basic need. Yes, the G-Shock can survive the apocalypse and a toddler's tantrum, but does it make it god tier? No, it makes it a glorified cockroach with a countdown timer. And I'm sorry if that offends a certain Northern Irish YouTuber and meme creator, but come off it. It was fun, it was kooky, but it's time to drop the act. Casio should be praised for their bang-for-buck brilliance, but here's the catch. It's like winning a karaoke competition in your local boozer on a Sunday night. Impressive in context, but you're not headlining Glastonbury. The Casio Royale? It's basically a Bond watch if Q's budget was cut to $15. The F91W? Iconic. But let's face it, it's a watch chosen by kids, and if there's one thing I know about kids, it's that they have a cognitive ability similar to that of a bloody magpie. Kids' opinions shouldn't be trusted. Casio fans often say, why pay $10,000 for a Swiss watch when this $20 gem does the same thing? That's like asking why eat fillet steak when instant noodles exist. Sure, they both fill you up, but prepare a romantic meal of instant noodles for your wife and see where that gets you tonight. Casios are fun, practical and indestructible, but god tier? Let's save that for watches with actual divine intervention. So the Casio god tier meme is going straight in there. Oh, am I kidding? Casios are god tier. Go on, admit it. You're the fickle sort with an attention span shorter than a goldfish scrolling through TikTok. You probably can't even finish a Netflix series without starting another one midway. As soon as a new watch arrives in your collection, your mind is already wandering to the next piece to lust after. I do it, and I'm sure most watch enthusiasts do too. And those who claim otherwise? Let's just say their pants are probably on fire. This constant hunger for the next big thing puts tremendous pressure on watch brands, especially Microbrands, to keep up with the demand for novelty. New releases and new colours seem to drop faster than Marvel movies, leaving little room to truly appreciate or refine what's already out there. But how is this a problem, you might ask, while scrolling Instagram for your next dopamine hit, no doubt? The issue lies in the lack of refinement. We rarely see a final perfected version of anything anymore. A brand might release a promising new watch, exciting, yes, but not perfect. Before there's even time to address the feedback or improve the design, we've all moved on to the next shiny object. Last year's hot release becomes yesterday's news, and the cycle continues. Another promising watch, not quite perfect but close, then another and another. Watches shouldn't be like tech products. Unlike the latest smartphone, mechanical watch technology isn't moving at pace, even high beaters. We're still using the same basic components to turn hands on a dial that we were 200 years ago, so why the rush? What I'd love to see is a shift in pace, a slowdown that allows brands to evolve and improve existing pieces. Imagine a world where feedback is taken seriously, and instead of churning out endless mediocrity, brands focus on creating fewer exceptional watches, pieces that are not just good, but great and timeless. Excuse the pun. Of course, the blame lies with us, the consumers. Our insatiable appetite for more makes this slow, deliberate approach nearly impossible. We're like kids in a candy store, gorging ourselves on sugar until we're sick, then complaining that nothing tastes good anymore. By demanding constant novelty, we're robbing ourselves of the chance to experience truly refined designs. If we could curb our hunger and give the brand space to grow, just imagine the potential, the watches we could have, the legacy we could build. It's food for thought, and if you can stay focused long enough to bake this thought and digest it, it'll taste all the sweeter. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe.